Dozens of imperial concubines lined up and leaped one by one into a giant pool brimming with wine. The emperor lounged lazily by the edge, eating grapes while scooping wine from the pool to drink. This extravagant feast lasted until late at night. Exhausted, the emperor returned to his bedchamber. The girl, who was the empress, could no longer tolerate it and only tried to persuade him gently. Unexpectedly, the very next day, the empress's entire clan was escorted to the execution ground. Only at this moment did the girl bitterly regret ever having saved him. The girl and the boy had known each other since childhood. Back then, the boy was merely a minor prince, timid, unloved by the emperor, and often bullied by other princes. The girl had stepped in to save him during a palace banquet, and the two had bonded ever since. From then on, the girl often entered the palace to keep the boy company. They played and studied together. To keep the boy from being bullied, the girl taught him all the skills her father had passed on to her. She also became his secret advisor, plotting strategies for him. Thus, he grew more composed in the court power struggles, and even the crown prince was defeated in confrontations with him. The girl gave her all to pave the path of emperor for the boy, wishing only to be his only wife. But she never expected that the boy, now emperor, would take her life. In the last moment her consciousness faded, the girl swore a blood oath: if she were to be reborn, she would make him pay back 100-fold. When the girl woke up again, she found herself at the royal hunting ground. She jolted back to her senses. She had been reborn 10 years ago. She was 17 years old, and her entire family was safe and sound. Just then, her best friend beside her nudged the girl and gestured for her to look at the young prince's situation. The girl followed her gaze and saw that the crown prince was surrounding the boy with a group of spoiled nobles. They had snatched the boy's bow and were mocking him wantonly. The scene was exactly the same as in her past life. In her previous life, unable to bear the crown prince's arrogance, the girl had rushed forward to save the boy. Her best friend urged the girl to help, but the girl spoke in a cold tone, saying it was none of her business. Her best friend froze in shock, feeling the girl was a completely different person. The old girl had hated injustice and would have stepped in at once. The girl paid no heed to her friend and only stared coldly into the distance. Relying on his noble status, the crown prince had always been arrogant and domineering. He snatched the boy's shoddy wooden bow and mocked him wantonly. The surrounding nobles roared with laughter. Ashamed and distressed, the boy instinctively searched the crowd for the girl. In the past, whenever he was bullied, the girl would always appear at the first moment. But in this life, the girl only watched indifferently. Soon, the hope in the boy's eyes gradually turned to disappointment and grievance. Helpless, the boy begged the crown prince to return his bow. The crown prince sneered and ordered someone to bring a giant iron bow used by elite military generals. He threatened the boy, forcing him to draw the bow to shoot a target. If he missed, he would have to bark like a dog in public. The boy's face turned pale with fear, let alone lifting the iron bow. Even an ordinary adult could barely draw it. Her best friend could not stand it anymore, thinking the crown prince was going too far, and urged the girl to help. But the girl remained calm and ignored her. Just as the boy was driven to despair, the second prince suddenly spoke up to dissuade the crown prince. The second prince was the crown prince's mortal enemy and the biggest obstacle in the boy's path to seizing the throne in her past life. Back then, to help the boy, the girl had plotted against the second prince many times, eventually leading to his life imprisonment under house arrest. In this life, she wanted to see how the boy could compete against the second prince without her help. At the sight of the second prince, the crown prince's face darkened instantly.